So time to attack the bonnet on the Fabia. Got some 40 grit on the sandpaper there, so 40 grit and 80 grit, then we're going to high build prime before we put colour on. So yeah, today's first job is crack on and get that done. Okay, so bonnet's all stripped down now. Like I said, did 40, then 80 grit, and then did a 240 over the top. But we're going to put a very thick coat of filler primer on this. So to be honest, it would have even covered 40, but just wanted to see what happened. Definitely was painted before. You can see the filler marks here, where someone did some form of repair on a dent or something. They just did a terrible job of keying up before they painted, so that's why it's gone bad. If my lens is dirty, 1 second. Yeah, so that's why it cracked like that. This is the bit I hate now. I've got to hand it over to somebody else and wait for them to do it. And as you can probably tell by now, I rattle through things quickly. I have a big sense of urgency on getting everything done now. I've got to hand it over to somebody else and wait for them to do it. So that'll be the annoying bit, in how quickly I can flip this car, because I'm confident once that bonnet was done, with the fact it's already got a long MOT on it and that interior the way it came up, I'm sure if I stuck this up for 1995 tomorrow, I'd probably have it sold by the weekend. It's Thursday today, but yeah, I've got to wait. So yeah, put a bit of primer on the areas that went bare metal just to protect it in between now and when it gets painted, because it's very damp in the air, and if you left that with the bare metal bits on it, it would surface rust very, very quickly. So we've got colour on the Fabia bonnet, a little bit of crud dust in it because we have sprayed it out here in the workshop rather than in the spray booth, which has got another car in it at the moment. So a little bit of crud in it, but nothing that I don't think won't buff out when it's dry in the morning. Obviously I think it's going to be a different colour to the rest of the car, as in slightly different shade. But I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem at this price point. This may already be sold. Somebody came in today, had seen some of the other cars, missed out on those, wanted something around the 2k price mark, and let's go at 1995. Interested in that. They're also interested in the Mazda 2, which have got 2 viewings on. It's now Friday, 2 viewings on Saturday, but someone just came in and drove the Mazda 2 and has put a deposit down on it. So the Mazda 2 is now sold as well. So all we've got left is the Yaris, the Honda Jazz, and this Fabia, which may well be already sold. The Honda Jazz is inside now, so I can start work on this. I haven't been able to do anything with it today because of painting with the Fabia. I can't put silicone up in the air, cleaning other cars, that kind of thing. It'll wreck it. So that is the next one to move on to. This is all about tightening up. Luckily the Mazda 2 I haven't gone into do 2 because it already got an MOT till September, had a service in September last year as well, so I've given them a free service to have September this year, but doing nothing MOT wise on it, so that's just a clean up. I think the Mazda's about £800 profit, I think, in the Mazda. Again, we are going to go through all the numbers on this and say exactly what the score is. So the Honda Jazz, I've got to get this bumper tight. I want to tidy this bumper up, close this gap off, get rid of the bad paint on the corner there. I want to rattle can that. A bit of bad paint on the back bumper I want to tidy up along here, and then just give the interior a good clean. As I said, I've driven this one a few times. It drives absolutely perfectly. So this is just a clean up job. And then I'll market this one at about 2695 probably for a Jazz. But yeah, things are going super quick. I mean, what was the Mazda advertised for? The Mazda advertised for 24 hours. I think I put it on last night, and it isn't even this evening yet, on Friday, so less than 24 hours for the Mazda. So this seems to be the price point where it is. All my stuff around 4 to 5k, Fiat 500, stuff like that, not selling. No real phone calls or interest, and they're good prices. They're all on Auto Trader at great price, so they're already great prices. Just don't think that market is moving at the moment. But the people that need cars at the moment, that really need cars at the moment, in my area at least, are the kind of people spending 2 to 3 grand. So as quick as I get it ready, it's going to be out the door. But it looks like we should be able to buy the 9 cars and flip them, I'd say, by the end, all done and dusted, it will be about 3 weeks flipping the 9 cars. And considering they've all needed work, I think that's good going, considering they're not just wash them, stick them out jobs. I am sending them trade, so I have to advertise them and get them ready. That's not bad. Bloody part is still not in for the Mitsubishi that the young lady wants, which is another good margin car. Still waiting on that inner tie rod. Can't get anybody with a breakers yard to get me one. I've ordered them from 2 different places now. They are held up. Brexit changes on the border have held up one lot. I've ordered another lot and they've got to transfer it from their warehouse and send it out. So I know I haven't got a boss on my shoulder chasing me, but I like to hit my personal targets each month. And I want that in this month. I don't want it to roll over to next month. It financially makes no difference to me until the money hits the bank at the same time. But I just like to set myself little targets, and it's annoying me that one hasn't gone out the door and the money's not back in the bank for it yet. So yeah, if that does sell to the couple, I can have it, and this Honda sells as quickly. The only one I've really got any time to put into is the Yaris to get the clutch done, and I can get that done obviously in a, you know, I've not done a clutch on a Yaris before, and as I've said before, I'm not a full-blown mechanic, but I have done a few clutches in cars, so I'm hoping that won't take me more than a day to get the clutch in and out on it, and then I've got to change a motor on it for the window regulator on the Yaris, and tidy the bodywork up a bit, so that'll take a little bit longer. So that's why I'm focusing on getting the Honda done first, because people are buying at the moment, so get this one ready, get it done, and get it up for sale. So that's where we are at the moment. So we're thinning out. The Rio and the Spark have been picked up. I said the Mazda 2 has sold, deposit's been placed on it, so that'll be going on Tuesday. We've only got the Yaris left at the end there, and inside we have the Honda, as I said, that we're going to start cracking on with, and the Fabia paint has dried now, so I need to flat it back. There is a colour difference, as I suspected there might be, and the camera probably makes it worse than it actually is. I've still got to machine polish the old paint, which will make it a closer match. So, and I've also got to flat this back. When I flat this back, I won't massively polish it back up again, because at the moment I think it will help match it a bit better. It's just we're a bit darker, but I knew this would happen because we're not blending into the panel. We're doing panel to panel, but this is going to be a 1995 car at the end of the day. A full main dealer service history Skoda Fabia. That was the only paint that it needed. The interior, as I said, came up mint. It's done 90,000 miles. It's going to be a 1995 car, so it doesn't merit spending the time trying to get that an exact match. No one's going to pay me the extra money for it. Got some wheel trims picked up from Halford for it. Sort those out. So it's now Saturday, so I'm going to try and finish this Fabia off today, so I can photograph it and get it on the market over the weekend. And then I'll be able to crack on with the Honda, and then all I have is the Yaris left to sort out that clutch, and hopefully the bloody part for the Mitsubishi comes in. So sorry, I have to shout, the compressor's running in the background, just powering up. So we're going to have 1500 grit on a soft pad, go over everything just to denib it and take off where the dust has settled on it, being as it's been done out here in the workshop. There's a bit of dust in the top layer of the lacquer. So we'll denib it. I also want to knock it back a little bit. I don't want it actually quite so shiny compared to the rest of the bodywork. So I will flat it back. I'll use a cutting compound afterwards on the machine polisher to, and then I just won't massively polish it back up again to total shine, because the rest of the car, I am going to machine polish the rest of the car, but it will knock it back a little bit on that colour if I do that. So we'll get cracking. Obviously I've got a few lines on these stuff. I've got the edge of the bonnet there, so there. I've got this body panel line here, and these body panel lines here. I'm going to have to keep the DA off the top of those for fear of burning through. So I will be staying on the flat sections and then leaving these edges. Right, I'll crack on. Typical, the compressor's still running noisily in the background, but we've sanded that down now with the 2000 grit. Normally I'd 1200 grit it, but we didn't have any around. Or even 800, then 1200. But for the moment, I've just 2000 gritted it, and I've got my heavy compound on now that I'll compound, and then I'll use a polish afterwards. So I'll just use the sponge head on the polisher for this bit. So just one of these on there. and like I say, the final will be a finer polish after that. But again, I'm not going to be buffing for a massive shine. At the same time, I'll go into the wings here before machine polishing the rest of the body. I'll go into the wings here with the heavier compound as well and try and get those as bright as possible to match the new paint. You can probably just about see by leaving sort of the fine scratching in from keying this back and not trying to take it out absolutely 100%. The match between the two paints is a lot closer now. So this is why I was saying I wasn't going to completely buff it back out, because I can see almost like this kind of light scratches you get from just general use of a car. I can take that out with a finer compound, but that will then make it ultra shiny and the colour is going to come through the lacquer more. If I leave the fine scratching in ever so slightly, same as the old paint, it's going to be a closer match. So that's the theory behind that. You can see on this side of the car the match is far closer, which means either that wings had paint before or this wings had paint before. This is why you're going to really struggle to ever get an exact match on a car this kind of age unless you're blending into both of those wings. Which again, you know, we've got to be aware of what kind of price point we're at. At £2,000, what do you want? You want a car that you know is going to start every time you come to it, isn't going to leave you broken down on the side of the road, it's going to give you good fuel economy. That's what you want. You don't want perfect paint. With all due respect to my customers and the cars I'm selling, these aren't collector items. These are daily runners that are going to probably have a ding within about a month of walking out the door anyway. But we're going to see what it properly looks like when we move it outside. But yeah, let's say the match here is nearly bang on. So obviously either wings had paint at some point. So moved the Fabia outside to polish the rest of the body. Fortunately the sun's going down. A few customers came along, had 2 handovers to do, and then some others popped along and they all wanted long chats. And you've got to be polite and carry on chatting. The reality is I wanted to crack on. So there you go. And outside, the bonnet looks okay, I think. I think it is not bad at all. Nothing to worry about there. Certainly doesn't merit redoing. Bit of a bummer with the wheel trims. They didn't quite fit these Fabia wheels. We've got a little sort of bulge here on the side of them, which a generic wheel trim isn't working on. So that's a bit of a bummer. But otherwise, she's coming up looking good. Just got to buff off some of the residue from where I've polished her. Get some black to black on some bits. And I've used the opportunity to air out that interior where it was damp. So, and that's looking really nice now inside. I knew this metallic would come up quite nicely because it didn't have a lot of bodywork damage. It's actually pretty damn straight all the way down the sides. So I think I'm really annoyed I'm not going to get it done tonight because I'm not going to be able to buff it off and obviously with the wheel trims and get it photographed and up, because I'm pretty sure this would go just as quickly as the other cars have gone, to be honest. It's you know, at the end of the day it's a Polo with a Skoda badge on it, and the Polos at this age are going for flipping £3,500 plus. So £2,000 for this I think is a good buy. Anyway, I'll see what more I can get done before I end the play. Otherwise the next bit of the video will probably be in the sunshine on Monday morning, because I better take Sunday off, otherwise the family will disown me. And yeah, crack on it on Monday, just do the final few bits, get it up for sale, and then move on to the Honda. Right, I got a proper wriggle on with the Fabia. I got all my black to black doing on it, finished off the polishing, and did get just enough light to do photos, so I will be able to put her up for sale this weekend. I think overall, if you can remember the fabric stained, faded bodywork, crusty bonneted car that came in a little while ago, pretty proud of a transformation that's taken less than 24 hours to get done. She's looking really smart. It's going to make someone a lovely little car, this. Yeah, I stuck the wheel trims on for the purposes of the pictures. They do sit a little bit proud in a couple of places. You can just see my finger in the edge there. So I will have to swap those out, but for the moment, just for looks, I've left them on, and I will swap them out when I get the proper fitting ones a little bit later. Hopefully I won't have to pay Volkswagen prices for a set of wheel trims. But probably take them off tonight before I go on. You see the bonnet colour, yes, it is on camera, it shows it more. In real life it isn't that far off, and like I say, it's going to be a £2,000 car, so looking this smart for £2,000, coming out the door with a fresh service, warranty, long MOT. It's going to be a good little car for someone. So yeah, that's the bit I like, turning around those really tired looking cars and making them come out looking like this. So onto the Honda.